Again, I appreciate this opportunity very much, and I respect your time. And I appreciate how much time you put into this, because I got some data on the from the fire department. I got some data related to the rise in EMS calls, what's going on with that. I got some data from the Emergency Communications of Southern Oregon. And I haven't had time to look at it. I'm trying to get my plants in the garden. I'm trying to do a million things, so I can only imagine how you all keep up with this. And I just want to thank you and let you know that I really appreciate your service and how much it takes to do what you're doing. So I'm trying to add something to your plate, and I know that might not feel comfortable, but when I sent you this morning the spreadsheet I got from Jeff McCamish from the ECSO, and it was data. It was EMS call data in cases where the call went through the medical dispatch system. So those are the cases where I could get the age and sex. I wanted to see the age and sex for people who are getting these calls. And so it's not as much data as the chief presented in his budget analysis report. It's a subset, but it's striking. In 2019, there was actually a decrease of 1.7 or something in the number of calls. In 2020, there was an increase of 2.4. And I remember 2020 is when we had lockdowns until May. We had the Alameda fire, and yet EMS calls for service that went through medical dispatch only went up by 2.84%. And then in 2021, the calls jumped by 18%. And in 2022, that was 17% increase on top of that 18. So I have the data now, and I have age and sex on almost all of it, and I'm going to graph it by months. But I asked you to add this as a budget amendment. At the last budget commission meeting, I asked you to ask the chief to document the calls for service by month, by age and sex, and let's see what's happening. And so I have the data now from ECSO, and I'm going to get to it. But I know, again, you guys are so busy. I can't believe how much you all do, and I'm super busy. But I'm going to get to it, and I wanted you to see it because. We could do something. We can make some effort to get to the root cause instead of treating this as a revenue opportunity. I still think you're very much focused on this. Like in Umatilla County, Chief Sartain mentioned they now have 12 EMS crews out, or EMT crews out. 12. I mean, it's almost, you documented the incredible rise in calls you were expecting. Over 600,000 calls are going to be, this new transfer service is going to pick up all this business. I just feel that you're focusing on this as a business opportunity. You got to get your slice of the pie. We can't have Mercy Flights getting all this business. Ashland Fire and Rescue's got to get its share of the pie too. And that's what it feels like from my observation of watching how you're responding, because none of you has asked the chief, has expressed any curiosity. Why are the calls going up, chief? Why are the EMS calls going up, chief? It's the most basic question, and none of you have asked it. And I hope you'll ask him that tomorrow. And or I hope you will at least consider, I'm going to wrap up here, I hope you will at least consider requiring the chief to provide a report, have a budget footnote or whatever, amend the budget, and ask the chief to present the data. And let's take a look at it and see if we can help the people of Ashland. I'm concerned that the calls are going up, and I hope you are too. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony.